Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are working on our GUI framework, and today's topic is trying to add some form of text input. So we are working on a GUI framework. Look at this guy. Look at this guy go. Hold on, we gotta build. But wow, look at this. We have text layout. Watch that text wrap as I move the window around. Wow, we got the scroll bar. Wow, it changes color when I click it. We have ability to change highlight colors on the fly with this like fun little color widget we implemented. Wow, red, green, blue, which means we have like float sliders that can change value. That's a bug. There's a bug here that we just added where those values are supposed to move when we slide on them. They're not. I think that I know why, but we're not going to fix that right now. We got buttons. When you click the button, the label changes. Wow, 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 right? So we got a GUI framework, and the goal of this GUI framework is to replace our kind of placeholder use of ImGUI in our image editor, right? So we have an image editor where we can like draw stuff, and like we use ImGUI as a way to like control parameters of shaders that are used in this thing, right? So that we can like do stuff like that. And we're getting pretty close. We are missing a couple features that we need. One is like drop downs, but even then, drop downs are kind of like a bad implementation of whatever we're doing here. But also, there's like text input. So objects have names, images have names. Sometimes we want to rename them. And so let's try to make that, functional today. So we want to add some sort of like box where we can press keys on the keyboard and it will put letters into a string wherever we click, wherever we type them. That's about it. So I think the plan of action is to do anything with any keyboard events because we haven't done that yet. Then we want to like append to some label on keypress just to like prove that we know how to input text. Then maybe we want to only take keyboard inputs when we have like the label thing focused. We don't really have a concept of focus in our widget framework right now, so we're gonna have to figure out what that means. Then we'll probably add like this like little cursor so that we can like add text at different points. Do support selection and deletion and all that shit. Probably somewhere we're gonna have to implement delete text as well, but well, yeah, we'll see where we get. And then if we get through all that, we can do like keyboard shortcuts and multi-line, but I doubt we will get that far. I doubt it. Let's just kind of see where we go. So let's start. Let's first make sure that we do a little add-u get commit-m smile. We'll clean up the commit messages later. Not worth doing right now. And let's go into our little demo application and try to figure out where we can display a label. So the way our widget framework works right now is every frame, the widget framework will ask some backing data storage area, like, hey, what do you want me to put in this label right now? Right? And we have like ways for us to update that. We can like provide the widget a pointer, we can provide it a function that can call, we have like options there. But for this, we can probably just provide it like a pointer to some text, or I guess a pointer to a pointer to some text, kind of. And then we will call like input handling on the widget system, and it will return an action where the action is something where we have like told it like, hey, if you're a float dragger, call this function when you generate a float or when like the float changes, and that will generate some action that you give back to us. Right? So then what we can do is we can like define a set of like custom actions for our application, and then those actions define like changes of state. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say, I want a new action here that says like append to text input, right? And we won't really attach any state to that right now. We'll just say this is the action. And then in here, we're going to have some sort of like text input. And this is going to be, I guess, an array list. Yeah, that seems reasonable, of U8. So we're going to have some sort of like modifiable vector of shit. Maybe we'll make it unmanaged so we can default initialize this thing. And I guess when we append to the text input, we are probably going to want to take some sort of character. But also, our input system, our like widget system doesn't really support any text input right now, so I don't really know if that's going to do anything. Maybe for now, we will just have a text input. We will feed that text input to our widget system, and then we will handle the keyboard events externally as our like kind of like first attempt. So let's kind of maybe at the top of the world, maybe before our coloring stuff, we'll be like, okay, we'll make a label. We will make a label. And I guess we've kind of been scoping stuff for some fucking reason. I don't really know why, because I guess to avoid name collisions. And we'll just call this the like text input label is going to take in probably a stud, like, can we do like stud? No, sorry, not stud. App, text input, items. I believe that this has a stable address, so we can just feed that to the text system, and it should update when we change it. Should. And then we will, throw that in there. So let's start by maybe initializing this thing to something. So maybe on app initialization, we'll just be like app text input append slice of hello world, right? Let's just try to see something. Something at all. Fuck. This guy needs an allocator. True. True. And then I guess on dinit, we need to remove that thing, right? We need to free the memory associated with this guy. So we gotta go like self text input alloc free. Nope. Self dinit with alloc. There. Boom. Which means that wherever the fuck we just were, we need to do a defer app dinit so that the memory goes away later. Wow, look at us go. This thing does need to be tried because it might fail. Theoretically, the memory allocator could be like, uh-oh, no room. But okay. Hello world, right here. Right here. Maybe we can even put like some gaps around it or something. That's not really that trivial. So we'll just leave it like that, and we will have to find it with our eyeballs. Because we have no ability to do layout spacing. Actually, we probably do. We could probably do like layout cursor y plus equals 20 here and here. And then probably that'll put some space around it. No. Why? That's actually quite... Oh, because on every frame, we re-update. And, yeah, we like relay out every frame, so that doesn't help us. Does not help us, but it would have been cool. Either way, here's our hello world. So let's try to process some keyboard events and see what that means. So, I guess we have some input state. And the input state gets some window actions where he defines these things, and he says, hey, if there's a key down, give me that key down. Now, I believe that the way we've got this set up is that those are just going to be like raw GLFW events, which is not very helpful for us. So we're going to have to figure that out. But for now, let's just do this. Action. If the action is a key down, let's try to append to our label, just to prove to ourselves that we should see something. So we can go like, if key is greater than or equal to GLFW, GLFW key A, and K is less than or equal to GLFWB, GLFW key Z. For now, we'll just be like K dot, we'll find like the character, which is going to be like K minus this. And it's not K actually, it's K dot key. Actually. Okay, so now this should give us a character that we can push into our label. So we'll say like app text input append this character. Let's just do this for now. And see if that gets us anything. Fuck. Fuck. Int cast. Okay. Okay. No luck for us. No luck for us. Why the fuck not? He's segfaulting because the address is changing, which means that makes sense because we gave him the address of an array list pointer, and that thing's like literally like changing over time. So what we did was stupid. Instead, we have to do app. We need to like extract the text from an array list. So can we go like array list label maybe? And this is going to return, like be some sort of structure. And I believe that our structure needs to have a get text thing on him. Text retriever must be a string or have get text function. Yeah, so this guy's gonna hold a pointer to an array list. No cam, thanks for the tier 1, much appreciated. So this is gonna be like, give me an array list of U8s, right? And then I'm going to say, okay, get text. I think this has to be a public function. And this is gonna return a U8 slice, right? Given myself. Maybe array list label data. Sure. And then here we can go like, just return AL items. Self AL items. And then we should be able to be like, array list label data. AL is equal to this. Now the array list itself should have a stable memory address, so this should be okay. Fuck. Found this, expected that, right? So we did say array list. What I really meant was array list unmanaged. Okay. So not looking good. It looks like we are either not punching the right thing in. Yeah, can we maybe say got car this character? Let's see if we're printing valid stuff. You know? Fuck. Can we do this? This is a U8. Int cast from this. Then we don't have to int cast down here. A equals 0 intercept. That's a really good point. It's a really good point. Much better. Look at that. Look at us typing, baby. Wow. It looks like we're frozen actually, which isn't good. What's going on there? So this is fine. It's as when I type and I get to the end of the row, maybe? No, that's fine. Oh, okay. Here, it's when I resize past the edge of the bounds, something bad is happening. So let's see if we can figure out what's going on there. So resize back down. Oh, that was okay. No, that was not. Okay. Oh. It's our text layout's fucking bugged. It's because there's no spaces. That's funny. I thought we fixed this case. Where like we... Yeah, where we like check if we need to wrap. And if the word is too long, we're like, uh-oh, I give up. But here, this is only supposed to happen if the f unit cursor x is not equal to 0. So it'd be kind of nice to see what's going on here. Maybe we just kind of check the state of this thing and just see what's happening. So I type spam, spam, spam. He goes past the edge of the line. We go in here and we backtrace. We see, why is this happening? Okay, so we're going... Okay, so we do apply the character. Can we look at here? Okay, we're at cpself.index or self-text index maybe? Okay, so we're at index 57. We append a glyph. Okay. Wait, this seems fine. Okay. Maybe we're like re-layouting over and over again. No, we are definitely trying to get out of make buffer from text, and we're not getting out of it, so what's going on here? We have reset the text index all the way back down to 8. Okay. So are we like trying to roll back at the end of a word somewhere when we shouldn't be? Can we break on like rollback here? That's not happening, but maybe we used the wrong word. What is it called? Update rollback data. Okay. Car bounds. Yeah, can we do like break at line 214? Okay, so that is happening. No. Yes. Why is this happening? So we're at 147. We have our F unit cursor is not 0, so we have advanced. We are at character 79. Oh, of course. We're advancing through the word and then hitting the end of the fucking the cursor is moving as we change the word. So we actually want to check if the rollback data. We need to check like if the word starts at the beginning of the line, which we are not tracking right now. That's easy to fix. Our rollback data needs to say start X as a I64. Then when we roll back, we set the F unit cursor X to self rollback data start X. Not that it really matters. And then here we have to say if the rollback data start X is equal to 0. That's when we're okay to just let the fucking word run too long. Oops. All right, let's try that. Let's try that. Run. And I start spamming, lama jamming, and now it's fine. We can't type any spaces, so he will just always run on forever. But that's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. So I'd say that we have some attempt at keyboard events. Now, obviously, this isn't very good. There's a lot of stuff we don't support, but we'll kind of figure that out as we go. I would like to. We've actually also done append to label on keypress, so we can kind of do those as the same section. And now let's try to like make a little widget that we can click on. So let's say that we need to make textbox widget. We have to start there. So we're gonna look at source, GUI, maybe like text entry, textbox. That sounds like a good name for this. And I assume this is gonna look a lot like the label. Not exactly the same, but similar enough that it is worth copy pasting. Okay. Let's just copy all this as well. Now the question is do we want to reuse the label and try to like create a widget out of that? Like we could like compose a widget and a cursor. Like a label and a cursor. That's probably easier to be honest. Let's do that. So we'll call this a text box, maybe lowercase b. Do you think text box is one word or two words? It's hard to say because you kind of have like one thing that is a text box, but that thing came from the two words text and box together. But I think it's one thing, so I'm gonna call it that. Okay. So as of today in happy hour, we have this. We have the concept of like a stack widget, which we can use here to basically like stack a rectangle on top of the label. I think that makes sense. So here we're gonna be like const GUI is to import GUI.zig. Then we have GUI dot. So we're gonna start with some sort of background thing, right? We're going to stack a label on top of that. Which we might actually not even need these things imported. It depends on like how we're supposed to use these. Okay. We definitely need the widget type. We definitely need the widget type because we are going, well, do we? Maybe not. Maybe we just need the stack type. Stack. Okay. let's start there. So maybe we don't even need a text box type yet, right? Maybe we just return like a pub function, make text box. I think something crashed because my indexer's not working correctly anymore, or the autocomplete, I should say. Okay. So we have some sort of action type, and we need the widget. Okay. And here we're like GUI label make label. That's one thing that we're doing. Who has all of these parameters? So surely we just copy paste these parameters in for now. We need an allocator type. Okay. And we need shared label state. So this comes from GUI label shared label state. Okay, everything else there is fine. We just kind of forward all of these parameters onto the label. Okay. So we have delete word, delete comma. Okay, then we go find colon, delete comma, word, boom, 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 boom. Okay. Then surely we have some sort of like stack that we're making. I think that we initialize this thing this way. Is this thing failable? Yes, it is. We might say, okay, we have a problem. If this thing, we have to free our memory if we run out of memory. Stack, we push the label here, but the label is not the first thing that goes in the stack, is it? We need a rectangle that's a little bit larger than the label. So can we do like label size is this? We make some sort of background rectangle. Okay. So here we're like rect is try. Is it GUI rect make rect? No, it's just this. Maybe we should, but it's fine. This is initialized with a few things. Squircle renderer. So maybe we make some sort of like shared text box state. That'll make our lives easier. So in here, we're going to be like, well, we have some label state. We have a Squircle renderer. Which we need here. Import Squircle renderer. Okay. What else did we need in here? Text retriever is fine. Wrap width. I think that's probably custom. Probably. So here then we just say shared is some shared text box state. And then here we use the shared label state, and then now we can start feeding other stuff in here. So what do you need again? I forgot. I guess we need some sort of like background color. Okay. So here we have our allocator, we have our size, which is the label size, or maybe we have like a fixed size. We probably have a fixed size, huh? Because we don't just want to wrap the label, we want to like have some space for the label to live. Sure. So this comes from shared size. We have some shared background color and the square renderer. Okay, so this is our rectangle. That is the background for the label. We're gonna try to like say that the stack push widget or dinit with an alloc of the rect. If that fails, we need to dinit the label and return the error. Otherwise, we stick the label on top. And I guess we don't need the label size then, which kind of means that we can do this afterwards, and then we don't need this fancy error handling, which is kind of nice for us. Hell yeah, everything's good. Okay, sure. that sounds like a text box. This needs to be public. And so now that means that in our demo app, we need to create the shared state. So that's gonna like live in here, shared text box state. GUI text box. We don't have this imported in GUI yet. Text box is text box. Did we call it text box with no underscore? We did, so we're consistent. We are consistent, which is pretty cool for us. So where do we like make this shit? Okay. Var shared text box state. Oopsies. Nope. Nope. This is text box state is shared text box state here. There we go. And what goes in here? I already forgot. I guess we have it open here probably. Boom, boom, boom. So our size will be the widget width. And the height will probably be like this, the height of a line. Do we have a line height somewhere? We must. I think that's what we like do everything to. We call it unit. We called it unit. So maybe we do this like unit times 1.3. Give it some like some area on either side. Probably 1.3 is too high. 1.05 sounds a little bit more reasonable to me, right? To give a few pixels on the top and bottom. The label state is just equal to label state. Okay. Squircle renderer is just going to be equal to the squircle renderer. Okay. And the background color is going to be probably like global style. We could use like default color for like the color of a button, or we could use background color too to say it's, yeah, I think like default color seems reasonable to me. And then maybe it changes to like the hover color when it's active or something. That doesn't seem crazy. I guess we'll see how it looks though. We kind of just have to feel it out, right? So now wherever the fuck we were making our this guy, text input label, let's call text box and try to make a text box here. Here we were not consistent. We used a capital B, boo, capital B for boo with a big, you know, for a big boo. Shut the fuck up. And here we're going to use the shared text box state. Okay, so I guess probably the wrap width here is probably defined by like the width of the thing, probably. And it's probably, we're gonna have to support like shifting the text around in the box later. But we don't have to do that yet, so we'll just kind of let it run over the side for now. For now, make text box is mad because we have too many arguments. True, because now we don't need the wrap width here. Okay. Fuck. Make text box expected error unit type found this shit show. So I guess that means that this can fail, which makes sense. Makes sense. There's allocations. And then push widget or dinit can always fail. True, because those require allocations as well. We do need to return the widget. So I think we do this. And hopefully that looks okay. Okay, so we do have this thing. He's centered in here, which I don't like. That's because our stack widget always centers stuff. And then that's kind of funny that the rectangle gets centered in the label afterwards, which is kind of funny. So maybe our stack, he might have to implement some form of like layout type. Yeah. So we could do this as like a full new type, I guess. It's fine, yeah, we'll do it in here. So we'll go like, give me a stack item. He is going to have a layout type. Right, so he's gonna be like, we have centered, right? That's definitely an option. Fixed, who is going to have maybe a bounding box. Maybe. So both the rectangle and the label will have fixed bounding boxes, or maybe the rectangle has a fixed bounding box, and then we can have like offset, which will have x offs as an I32 and y offs as an I32. So that way we can kind of like offset the label from the top left of the box, have like the backing rectangle be a fixed size. And then I think that kind of works out, sure. So this is gonna have like a layout, I guess we'll call it. And here we're gonna have the widget as a widget. Okay. So here, that means that we're gonna store stack items instead of whatever the fuck we were storing before. And then we're just gonna have to think a little bit about this stuff. So when we push this thing, we're gonna have a layout. Okay. And when we append this thing, we're literally just like layout is equal to layout, widget is equal to widget. Okay. The sizing here, we have to be careful based off of the layout type, probably. Right? So if this thing is centered, the total size is just the width of the thing we found. If it is fixed, I don't like the idea of this having a fixed bounding box, as I don't even like the idea of fixed, to be honest. I think we can just do centered and offset for now. Maybe if we need, oh no, because the fixed was the rectangle size, but the rectangle size can just be done with an offset. Yeah, so I think we don't need the fixed thing. So if it's offset, then the total size width is the maximum of the item size width plus the offset. I think it's something like this. Yeah, sure. And then presumably this is actually going to be used in multiple places. So can we go like, because we have to do the same thing when we re-layout later, like over here. So we're going to do like update. I forget what this thing is doing already. Update total size, and we will take in new total size. Takes in a old size of pixel size and returns a new size of pixel size. And he also takes in the layout of the widget and its widget size. Yeah. And that's just going to be this. So this is new size equal old size, like this, and then the total size. Remember we said self total size before? This is just new size. I think that's fair. And then item size is widget size, yeah. Okay, so that should let us size this thing correctly. So we say self total size equal to just total size. It is a pixel size, yeah. Is new total size given the existing size, the layout option, and the widget size. Okay, chillin'. And then we just have to do the same shit on update here. Okay. Uh-huh. Seems reasonable. Okay, so this is now going over widgets. We call this widgets. Now this is going to be called items, I think. Because, you know, it's a stack item now, not a widget. Which means everywhere called widgets here, we need items. Self items, items, item. Classic. Okay. Items append here. Okay. Items, item dot widget, item dot widget. What is the fucking? Oh, I see. Yep. Item bounds here. This needs to change now depending on the layout as well. So if we are trying to, if this thing is centered, we do what we were doing before. Okay. Otherwise, we have offset, right? And this is going to take the bounds of the widget, or I guess like our bounds. So we're gonna be like, item size is widget get size, right? That seems reasonable. Now we return something where like the left side is just the stack bounds left plus offset x offs. Yeah, that's the left side. The right side is the left side plus the width of the widget. That seems reasonable to me. The bottom is the top plus the height. That makes sense. And then the top is top, where this is the stack bounds top plus offs y offs. Okay. Okay, so that kind of covers that. Here we had self widgets items here. This is items, item now. Which updates the widget with the new total size given item dot layout, and then this stuff goes away, probably. Yeah, I think so. Then input handling, we just use item bounds, which now needs the layout, I believe, to be passed in. Okay, this is item, not widgets. This is items here, and this is item dot widget like this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Yeah, that might work. I think everybody who used this thing before is gonna get mad. And then here when we create our stack, these guys are pushed with a layout option of offset equals x offs equals 0, y offs equals 0 for the rectangle, right? And then for the label, we are going to offset this by some amount in both x and y. So can we just, I guess we need to calculate the y offset here. Right, so we have like, this is the rect size, and our y offset is going to be the rect size height minus the label size dot height over 2, right? Get this thing a little bit centered vertically, and then the x offset is going to be like some sort of like item pad or something. Right? It kind of feels like that, so maybe we have some sort of like text box style. And this holds the color, the size, and the item pad, or the like label pad, I guess. Right? And then here we can be like, okay, this is just like using our style label pad. Chillin'. Why else was he pissed? Because this needs to be like this. Label size doesn't exist. Okay. All of this seems reasonable so far. We're kind of assuming here that the label height will never change, which I think is fair for now. We might have to change that later, but for now this is good. That's a good enough assumption. So now we can be like, offset is equal to whatever the fuck we just typed. X offs equals x offs, and y offs equal to y offs. Chillin'. Fuck. Background color at 535. Oh. True, we changed this, because now this thing is in a style section. And what do we say? It was like the label pad is equal to widget text padding. That sounds right. I don't know. No field style? Fucking liar. It's a fucking liar. He's not a fucking liar. He's not a liar, but I want him to be. Shared size, yep. This is now in style here and here. Okay. And now everybody else who used to call, oh, Stack's mad at 141. He's pissed about us just not returning the new size here. Fine. It's fucking whiner, this guy. 200 in color picker is mad probably because we have to write centered here everywhere we pushed into the stack. Okay, item bounds is pissed at stack 79 because he's like, yo, we need the fucking layout. True. And then 105, he's like, widgets doesn't exist. True. Okay, so let's see if we broke the color widget. Okay, so this is good, right? We can see that the text here is, well, I can't backspace, so it's hard to show. But if we rerun, right, this looks pretty reasonable here, except that I think that the height is too small, but we do see that the text is kind of like offset by some amount on the left and centered here, which is good. And then let's see if we broke the color widget, which uses the same kind of stack layout thing on the hood. This looks all okay as well, so I don't think we really broke anything, which is nice. Okay. Okay, so now let's just adjust the style a little bit so that the height of this thing, maybe he needs a little bit more padding on either side. Maybe a little bit. That looks a little better to me. We could even go a little more, to be honest. We could even, like, double it. Double it and give it to the next one. Dude, did that even change? I'm not high, right? Like, that... Maybe I'm just... Okay, that's definitely having an effect. Okay. Okay, so I'm okay with 1.15 or something. I don't know, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter, as long as it's not, like, total shit. Sure, fuck it. I don't know, that's fine. That's fine. Now what? Now what? I guess we probably want to only take keyboard input when this is selected. Okay? So what needs to be done for that to work? If we have like multiple text boxes, which we should do, let's just make multiple text boxes because that will kind of like expose problems with whatever approach we come up with. So let's make it so that our app has like 5 of these. Right? So can you do, how do you do this? You do like 1 of these things to the 5 times. If any Zighead can tell me if there's like a better way of doing this other than like typing, like, because this looks stupid to me, that would be sick. Okay, so now when we do this, we're gonna go like 4 0 to app text input len. We can still use a pointer to the array list because it's not going to move. So I think it's okay to do this here. Fuck. Append slice is... So I guess what we'll do here is we'll go 4 0 to app text input len. In master, you can use splat for raise. Oh, that's fucking metal. That makes a lot of sense. I like that, but I'm not in master. But that's pretty cool. I'm looking. So I guess the fact that they've changed that means that it was not trivial to do before. So we'll just live with it. It's fine. For app text input append slice cannot capture. Oh, item. No, wait. What's the fucking? Oh, I'm an idiot. Here we go. And then we go like input append 0 plus index, I guess. Something like this. Yeah. Fuck it. Okay, so now we should have like 5 text inputs. Fuck. I do have to use an ampersand here. That's true. Fuck. We do need an allocator here. Fuck. This needs to be intcast to a U8. Fuck! I'm gonna lose. Ah! 600. Right, that's here because here we're only appending to the first. But fuck! 175. One more. 4 self text input. We DNA each of the inputs. Fuck! Pointer capture of non-pointer type. I forgot to like this thing. Feels like that PyTorch. Feels like that makes PyTorch ports more doable. The NN release. Oh, interesting. Because like, oh, I don't know. PyTorch I think is still gonna be a bit of a pain. But okay, so now we have one text box that is getting keyboard events, and so it makes sense now to try to do some sort of focus events, which we probably could have claimed that we'll say that this addition of multiple things was kind of like part of that. Okay. So obviously the first step here is that keyboard events need to make it into the widget system, right? That's the obvious first thing. And I suspect that now multiple keyboard events could come in per frame, and we probably want to process every keyboard event per frame individually, right? We probably want to, in some widgets, rip every keyboard event. But maybe we start first. Maybe we start first with like selecting, like maybe we start with focus. We start with focus. So here, somewhere we need to store the focused widget. And we need to extract that back. So maybe, okay, what's like the flow? What's the flow of stuff that we need to support? We need like glfw keypress. This needs to go into like layout. Layout needs to send this to like widget. And then the widget needs to emit event that says like, hey, I want a key pressed, and then the app needs to process that event. That is the flow that needs to happen. So we can kind of bisect this, I guess, a little bit. It's hard because it's hard to like do this piecemeal because right now like app has no way to really like poke layout in a way that makes sense. So maybe we'll start with clicking a widget. We'll emit a append letter A. Start there, then figure out how to tie keyboard to that same event. I think that's the easier way to piecewise this, yeah. You're saying that I could have done this. That's interesting. Oh, so it figures out the fact that because there's a times 5 here, this thing had to be 1/5 the length of this thing. So if I do 6 here, it probably won't work. Ah, that's pretty cool. Thank you. That will save me in the future because this is a much nicer type. I didn't know that it could infer sizes like that. Okay, yeah, let's start then with a key with an event. So we'll say append letter, and this will take in an index for which text entry we are appending to, as well as the character we are appending. Right? We're not handling UTF-8 here right now, so we're just gonna say every character is 1 byte. That's a lie, but we'll live. Okay. So that means that our text box now needs to be a little bit of a more advanced type. we can't just return like this stack anymore. Instead we need to make a text box, which is probably gonna be a function, because the text box needs to hold the action type that it's returning. Okay, so this is gonna return a type, and we're gonna be like return struct. And he needs to conform to the widget API. So, I don't know, we'll see. So he has some sort of... does he hold the stack inside him? Probably. Sure, yeah, fuck it. So this is gonna be like a stack of action type widgets. And I guess we just start yoinking out whatever like the widget vtable looks like and implementing. Okay. So here we're like, each of these functions needs to be something. So we go record a macro, delete to the colon, find the bracket, paste, go to the end, bracket, and then delete word, go back down, run. All right. We have the same problem where like null happens here, and we're probably missing some imports, but that's okay. We need pixel bbox and pixel size. Okay, simple. Now we need to also set up our vtable for this thing, which is not very hard. We need to go into the widget, copy this vtable again, and each of these things is like structure, boom, and not struct. Sorry, this is a widget of action type dot vtable like this, and here we say this thing equals this like this. Okay. Self isn't defined. So we make that thing defined. Okay, and now what? We haven't really thought that far. We have not thought this far. So do we need, first of all, some of these things are optional. Do we need them all? Yes, because surely we have to update our widget. So here we have like self is pointer cast, align cast of context. Like this. Self, stack. This thing needs to be a widget actually. That makes sense. So then we are like, update this stack with the available size. Wow, we just forward our fucking arguments. So our input state is going to be different. We are handling our input ourselves. This was the whole point of this. Size is literally just get size on the stack. Render is literally just render with these arguments. Okay, and then dinit is, we probably, when we make this thing, probably heap allocate ourselves. Probably, I don't know. We might not need to make an init function. We might be able to just make it here. Text box of action type. Okay. Stack is equal stack to widget like this. And then can we just like fucking like return this shit? I guess this thing needs to be heap allocated. So we go like box is equal to alloc, create text box action type like this. Box dot star is equal to this. Okay, and then we return widget action type. I guess we just go return context equals to box, and vtable is equal to text box action type. Yeah, okay, that's not crazy. That way we don't need to make an init here. Now our dinit here is going to assume that we have to free ourselves, and that we have to free the stack as well. All right. Okay, so now Just out of curiosity, how come you're using GLFW instead of your own Wayland layer here? Because it was easier to get running. But I am planning on switching to my own Wayland stack later. Also, I want to I need to think about if I want to support like Windows and X11. So that will happen eventually, probably, but not like right this second. I am, but it's on the list for sure. For sure. Okay, what did I say I was gonna do here? I already forgot. Um, yeah, what the fuck? Why can't I remember? Um, we were going to, when we click this thing, append an A. That's what we were gonna do. But first, let's just see if this works at all. Let's see if this works as we have it. So theoretically, nothing externally should have to change for this to work. What's he pissed about? This thing is right try. Makes sense. Get size is pissed off. Demo is pissed because I didn't fix this append letter thing. Okay. So we're like doing like app dot text input at v index equal to v char. Okay. Makes sense. Oh, nope. We are actually doing insert. Oh yeah, v index. Maybe we're just appending v char for now. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Eventually we'll have to do some sort of like cursor input, but for now we just append. That works for me. Works for me. Get size at 60 is ignored. True, we do have to return what we returned. Okay, so now the text box should still be there. Yep, that's still working. And now we want to, when we input something, when we click on this thing, for now, if we click in this location, I guess we're gonna have to like debounce the mouse click. Mouse released is a bool equal false. If I guess that's easier to model this as a state machine. So we are either like waiting for click, not clicked, clicked. Is there really anything else? I guess there is only two states, not clicked and clicked. So if we are in the, so we start in the not clicked state. Okay. We need self here. So if we are clicked, we need to say if the input state, if the widget bounds contains input state, mouse down location, we move into the, oh sorry, if we're not clicked, sorry. If we're in the not clicked state, we move into click state. And we emit an action. So action, we'll say this is the like text action, and we'll generate an event. With the letter A. Yeah. Seems reasonable. So ret is equal to this. Var ret is a nullable action type. Okay. Bing, bang, boom. And then if we're clicked, if the input state has a mouse released, we go to not clicked. Okay. That's fine for now. So now when we click each of these guys, oh, he doesn't have, how did this fucking compile? We don't have self text action. That shouldn't have fucking compiled. Oh, set input state's never called because we didn't assign this. That's why. It's getting dead code eliminated. Boom, now we fail. Okay, so now we need a text action to be associated with this thing. Which is like text action like this. And then probably we want this thing to be able to be either a function pointer or a structure, right? So that we can do, but for now we only have the structure type, so we only have to care about that one. Sure. We'll tackle that if we need it. Okay, so then here we're like, make me a text action box of this thing. This is like this with type of text action. Boom. Hell yeah, we create a TB and we use the TB widget table here. And then here we just have to set the text action to text action. Wow. Okay. So then we make the text box in demo zig now. Make text box is what we call it. Yeah, we have to pass in something that generates an action, a text input event. So we need some sort of like make append letter is going to have a generate function, I think is what we said we have to make. And he is going to return a UI action. Okay. And he is going to take in a character. Okay. Which means he needs to stash the index that he's associated with. And he is going to return a UI action of append letter. Index is equal to self index char is equal to char. Nice. So then we have like make append letter with idx equal to idx. And that should just kind of work. Fuck. We need to make that public. True. Blam. Okay. So now when we click on any of the individual text boxes, we should see an A appended to the right one. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Let's go. Okay, so now we have ways for one widget to communicate to the rest of the world, right? We have one way for like this widget to say, hey, app, tell me what you want to do when you get a character, and I'll tell you to do it. So now we just need to make sure that when we type, that action is generated now. So this, like, let's do a little checkpoint here. I actually don't know if GUI text box is even in here. So let's just check. Looks like we're good. Little smiley face checkpoint. We will fix the commit messages later. And what happens now? What happens now? I guess like somewhere in this chain of events, sometime before now, we did like emit event. Emit event from textbox. And now we are on focus keyboard on text entry. Again, we are back there. So who is in charge of this? Who's in charge? The layout. The layout must be in charge of who's in focus, right? But like, he needs to know if a widget is focusable, right? Like, I don't know why it's building this every time I rerun, but like, surely, this is a bug. When did this break? Why is this not wrapping anywhere? We probably broke this in the text renderer stuff, huh? when we fixed that crash on wrap width earlier, we broke the part where this is like, oh, is it update rollback data? We didn't actually save that thing. So maybe we actually didn't fix the problem. That's pretty funny. Let's check that again. Oopies. Okay, so now this stuff is wrapping correctly, but did we break this shit? Hold on, let's just spam click a little bit, give myself a little RSI. Oh, we actually just didn't. That's cool. We love that. So, fuck. We need to fix the. We need to fix this again. Why? Rollback data start X. If we have managed good to get into this thing, maybe when we roll back, we roll back and then advance line immediately. So the F unit cursor X should be 0 at that point. Oh, but when we advance line, we don't update the cached word start index. I see. So it's actually here. This is kind of wrong, but it's fine. Fix me, this feels wrong. But it does fix our problem, I'm pretty sure. Been grinding your YouTube VODs. Happy to catch you live. I've been learning about best practices from you. Well, I wouldn't say that we're ever teaching best practices, but I'm glad to hear that it's helpful for you. Okay, that's better. That's what we wanted from the start. So now word wrapping at the bottom works, and this works. Okay, cool. Cool. Little oopsies there. It's fine. We should have you guys heard about unit tests? Those things are pretty cool. Could have caught something like that. Okay, back to keyboard focus. So this was oops, text bug, focus keyboard 107.40. Okay. I suspect that the layout is in charge. However, like we were saying, a widget, the reason that we got distracted there because I wanted to show I wanted to show that if I click this, I don't think that should get keyboard focus, right? And I think when I click a button, like theoretically, if we supported like keyboard navigation, that should say that this is the focused element so that when you press tab, you can switch between elements. But like at this point in time, really the only thing that could be focused is these guys, right? So I think that a widget should be able to request focus. I think that's the play. I've read about those evil unit tests. Clear waste of time. Working the devil. Classic. Sometimes, yeah, I have stopped using them as much, but I don't think I've ever written a unit test and regretted it. Ever in my entire life. So there's definitely something to it. Yeah, okay, so let's make it so that a widget can request focus. I think that's the only thing that makes sense. So here, when we call set input state, I think maybe we have like an input response. Maybe this should live outside the widget. I think that'll make kind of like interaction with this thing easier. And I guess this is actually going to have an input response that has to hold an action type. So we're going to do like input response returns a type, and there's a, he returns a struct, a little like classic Zig generic programming. And here's going to have like the action is a nullable action type, and the we might say request focus here, right? So then we can say like I want focus or wants focus. Yeah, sure. I'm a self-taught programmer, mechanical engineer. Exposure to people know what they're doing is very low. Yeah, that's what, not to stroke my own ego that much, but I do hope that that's the value that this provides, is that hopefully just by like, even if I'm not good, which I believe I am because I have my egos through the fucking roof, but even if I wasn't, just seeing other people how they tackle problems is like valuable. And so that's the value that I hope to provide, is that like just seeing somebody else tackle something in a different way than you would like opens up your mental a little bit. Be like, oh, I didn't know that was possible. Or like when you like, when you're like at work and you just see someone do something, you're like, oh, that's fucking sick. Whatever you just did, I want to do that now. Like some people just don't get that, and so that's why I hope broadcasting is useful. Um. Okay, this thing needs to return an input event as our input. What do we call this? Input response. That's 100% why I'm here. Let's go. And everybody who implements set input state now is gonna fall the fuck over. So can I just like find references to this? Oh, that's a lot. Okay, we'll just knock them out. So this needs to return a GUI input response, and he's just gonna be like return. This thing is gonna be like, oh, this just forwards it on actually. So he can just return red because the stack widget just asks his underlying widgets. Okay. Okay. So that's one down. We have pop-up layer here. Probably is the same shit where he's going to GUI input response, and then this kind of just comes for free. Nice button. So here we have the same shit, and he now actually needs to return a structure now. So it's action, I think, is equal to ret, and what do we call this? Wants focus equals false. I think that's what we said. Textboxing. We should double check that. I'm not positive that the compiler knows what he wants here. Is there a direct correlation between typing speed and programming proficiency? I don't think so. I don't think so. But some people seem to think it's important, but I suspect that they don't have, a world of experience. Because I can't imagine that it's that important. I cannot imagine. But I mean, also, I think that there's probably a correlation. Maybe I was a little too strong there. I think there's probably a correlation between people who like to get better at stuff and people who are good at stuff, right? Like I just want to get better at stuff, and so I spent a lot of time grinding typing speed. But like that's stupid. It's not a good use of my time necessarily. But the same thing that made me want to do that makes me want to be good at other stuff. So I don't know. There's probably some sort of correlation there. But I don't think it's like a requirement in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Return null here needs to return wants focus false, and then action equals null. Okay. Is there any other, where's our other returns here? Return generate action here. So can we do this here and then be like, this is like kind of like a hack for now, but it's fine. Wants focus equal false, action equal this. Sure. I think that should fix a lot of this stuff. Function returned this, got that. Whoa. Hold on. 425. Oh. Color generate. This should be generate action here. Should be Expected 3 arguments, found 2. What does this thing want? He wants an action type. Sure. Okay. Want focus. This should be wants focus. This is a really fun use of my time. 313 is pissed because, like, oh, gross. Okay, we can't do it there. We can't do that hack. It was worth a shot. Worth a shot. Okay, so it should be that now users of this guy have to wants focus equals false. Oh, why do I do this to myself? Why do I do this to myself? Another one here. Wants focus equals false. Action is equal to this thing. It has to be done. There's no choice. It has to be done. Drag float. I mean, if it's a bottleneck for you, then I would try to fix the bottleneck, but, you know, to each their own. Okay, return. Action equal this. Wants focus is equal to false. Hopefully the rest of these will be easier. That one looked pretty easy. Layout zig. Dispatch input. Okay, that's probably what this is complaining. 188. Oh, yeah. Okay, here. Boom, boom, boom. Dispatch input. That means that this needs to return this as well. And oh, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. When you call set input state on this thing now, the action is nullable, but the desire for focus is not. So I guess we update the focus. Here we need to set like the focus widget ID in the layout. The layout's going to keep track of a bunch of widgets. He's going to say this one wants to be focused. But for now, I think that we can. This should be. These shouldn't be nulled out like this. That's kind of wrong as well. Yeah, the input response should always return, which means everywhere that we've changed this already, we fucked up. That's kind of cool. Love that. Love that. Probably most of these just come for free though, which is good. Because I think we kind of internally did what we wanted. We just got the wrong signature. Pop-up layer 85. This can't return null anymore, so he needs to return like wants focus is equal to false and action equals null, I guess. It's really cool. Love that. 83. What's he fucking pissed about now? Why is he mad? Because set input state here is... Oh, ret here? Const ret is this thing? That should be fine. What's he fucking yelling about? Oh, because in widget, I didn't fix them all. I had another nullable here. So this needs to return, like... Oh, where the fuck am I? Yeah, wants, focus is equal to false, and action is null here. Okay, we're getting somewhere, Stack zig, oh my god, I forgot this thing. Okay, textbox, 49. This thing also has to go away here. Stack zig, 1112. What's he pissed off about here? Set input state. Yeah, this can't happen anymore. Yeah, so here can we do like our stack in a stack. I guess we have like our return here is an input response. Okay. In a stack of items, we have wants focus equals false. and action is equal to null, right? And on each thing in the stack, I don't know what to do here. I guess we say like, if there is, we call input state on the child widget, and I guess we just say wants focus is equal to the input response wants focus. Yeah, we'll have to fix this later, but yeah, we'll just say like ret is equal to input response, I guess. And if ret.action is not equal to null, yeah, fuck it. I'll just put a fixing on here and say like unsure this is right. But we need to keep moving. We need to keep moving. Color picker. Oh my god. Set input state. Again, we got this wrong. He has to return this thing unconditionally. Drag float. 42. Another one. Another one. He's chilling. And then we're back at layout, I think. Okay. So the layout here, we're going to say like input response is we set the input state to this thing. Now, if the input response wants focus, then we need to set the layout. The layout needs to say, okay, you have focus now. So we're going to, in the layout, store the focused ID. Maybe nullable. And here we're going to say, if he wants the focus, we're going to stash that shit. Okay. And then we're going to say that we want focus. So this is going to be GUI input response. We're going to start with wants focus is equal to false, and action is equal to null. Right, boom, boom, boom. And then here we'll say like, if it wants focus, then we want focus as well, our layout. Surely wants to be focused if a thing inside wants to be focused. And if this thing produced an action, we forward that action along. Okay. Seems reasonable to me. And I'm sure someone else is going to yell at us now. Color picker. 101. Set input state. This needs to give us one of these guys. And here we return wants focus equals false, action equals null, and I guess we're kind of doing that unconditionally here in this color picker. Yeah, this guy literally never generates anything. So we could do this like this. Yeah. GUI input response action type here. Return right down here. Okay. Demo 443. He's pissed because this thing now returns an input response. So we're gonna say like return input response action for now. Not gonna worry about that. Layout zig 125. This thing is now returning in this thing, which means this thing needs to return. Who calls this? Literally only here. So you just extract the action. Layout zig 262 is pissed off. Why? What's the fucking action type here? I guess that makes sense. Oh, we fucking finally got there. We fucking finally got there. Okay. So hopefully nothing is too broken. We should do a quick little sanity test that everything works. So click a button, get a pop-up, drag this thing, change this. These were broken before, that's fine. These work, decrement, increment, yeah. Everything's working, scroll bar. Everything's working. And now we should be able to request focus from the text box. So now, instead of clicking and not clicking emitting events, we should ask for focus. So if we are in the not clicked state, and we move into the clicked state, maybe we get told if we're focused here. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe not. I don't really want to do that right now. We will just say, yeah, if we move from not clicked to clicked, we request focus. So we'll just say bool wants focus equal false. Wants focus is equal true. And then we call wants focus here. This needs to be var, not bool. What language is this? What year is it? Who am I? You know, all that. And we will no longer emit this action. So this kind of is unconditionally null now, I guess. And we do have to know if we're focused, right? Like, yeah, it's the only way, because we need to know if we're focused to know if we should process keyboard events. And if we're focused, it's going to change like render state and stuff as well, right? If we are focused, we are going to want to like highlight ourselves in some way. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll, on update, we will say whether or not we are focused. Or we could provide a new API. That might be cleaner for now, even if it's like a little bit overkill. We could be like set focused. Because that way everybody else doesn't have to get updated, which makes our lives easier. Yeah. Yeah. So, we'll be like, yeah, like this. So you can say, hey, let me know if I'm focused or not, and then I'll change some internal state about my widget when that happens. That seems reasonable. So we'll make a little helper function for that. So it's called set focused. We use self context and we pass along just a bool. Yeah, that makes our lives pretty easy. And we just have to say like if self vtable set focused, we have some function that we can call. All right, sure. So that should not break anything, except instead in textbox he's looking for focused here. Except I probably just didn't save. And here now we will be the only implementers of set focused. Okay. And all he's going to do is be like this. Maybe we have like a focus state here. No, we'll just write focused. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Okay. So now, don't you need to record which widget is focused? Only one. Yeah, so that's gonna happen in like the layout layer. Here in the layout layer, we have written down the focus ID, and just when this thing is changed, we'll tell it. Probably like on update here. will be like on update when we'll be like if focused ID is equal to index, we'll do self widget set focused. Otherwise, we probably need to unfocus someone else. So we probably need to do like self items at focused ID. Oh, this isn't no someone who does this when the focus ID changes. That's when we undo the other one. Yeah. So here we're like, if self focused ID exists, we go self items ID widget set focused false. Yeah. Oh yeah. That seems pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. I don't know. That seems kind of reasonable. Why is this thing pissed off now? Missing field set focus. Oh, sure, because this thing needs to say that this thing's null by default. What is that 0 dot dot? It's like when you make a for loop, you can. Sorry, brain. When you make a for loop, you can basically say like attach an index to this shit as you go, just to make your lives. It's like a convenience thing. Okay. So for now, let's say we do. I guess like if the widget bounds contains the mouse down location, that's when we ask for focus. We probably don't need to use self at all here. And probably let's for now render this thing differently in that case. So that means that the idea of using this like stack internally doesn't work anymore because we want to change the background color on the fly. So that kind of means that like we'll store our label in here instead of the stack. No more stack, no more rectangle. How did we determine our size here? Oh, our size is just set by the style. Sure. Okay. So our get size returns like we need to store shared state in here. And then our size here is like self style shared style size. Okay. Rect size goes away. This now we still need to size the label appropriately, so we're gonna call like shared style size here, no stack here, label gets put in here like this. I guess we calculate this on the fly later, like where the label is positioned is kind of like calculated on render, I guess. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Sure. So here we're like rect size equals self shared style size. Label size is self label get size like this. Okay, and then now we just apply this offset to the label bound. So we go label bounds is a pixel b box of the left side equaling the widget bounds dot left plus x offs. Nice, here we go. Top is offset by y. The right side of this thing is just the left plus label size width. I feel like we've done this so many times. But you know, it is what it is. Const left is equal to this and top. is top and Y. Boom, boom, boom. Left equals left. Top equals top. Bing, bang, boom. Then we render the label with the label bounds. Okay. So now we should see this thing rendered with no background. Fuck. Shared equals shared. Boom. Okay. He's mad because our shared didn't write const here. Let's do that. I don't know why I typed that. Self stack is now self label. Okay. Fuck me. Label here as well. I think that's. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Label. Okay, so now, yeah, what we should see is the label should be rendered. But it should not have the background anymore because we lost that shit. Yeah. Okay, good. And now let's just render we'll bring the background rendering back, but with manual coloring. So here, before we label the render, we have to be like rect, self, squircle renderer, shared, squircle renderer, render. Yep. With all this stuff. So we need some color, which for now we have colors equals self, style, shared, style, background color, corner radius. We're gonna hard code at 0 for now. Widget bounds is just what we got passed in, and the transform we need to calculate. So the transform is util, which doesn't exist yet. Const util. Let's import util.zig. We need to calculate our like widget to clip transform, which we have all the code for already. Oopsies. What the fuck did I just do? Okay. So now we should have our background back. Sick. Okay, so now all of this was so that we can change the color. Right? So we want to have like a focus color as well. Okay? And so in the demo now, we can say that the we have like focus color here is going to be global style hover color or something. Like this. So now what we can do is when we render, if we are focused, so we'll say the rect color is a switch if focus, if self-focused, yeah, there we go. We are the focus color, else we are the background color. Yeah. So now what I'm hoping to see here is that when I click on the different things, they change color, but we're not seeing that. So nobody's focused. Nobody is focused, probably because we have to say set focused is a function that we provide. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, hell yeah. So now whether or not I'm like still there, we're going. Interestingly, when I'm holding it down, it doesn't count. That's probably because in the layout section here, on input handling, we don't set focus here. So we probably do something like that, and then also probably our layouts have to say like keep track of if they're focused as well. But we'll do that later. So let's just not do focusing here. We'll do it when it's requested. Okay. So let's just put a fix me here and say layout needs to check if it is focused as well, right? This should be self-focused and widget focused or something. Okay, so now I click here, click, 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 click. And I guess when I click off this thing, it's kind of up to the widget, I think, to determine if it has lost focus. Right? So here, actually, here we need to check if wants focus is false and it was previously focused. We want to say, okay, we'll unfocus you. I guess really, in reality, the widget is in charge of knowing if he is focused, so he doesn't have to request focus release. He can just release it himself. That seems reasonable. That seems reasonable. Can we get a UML diagram of the code? It's actually not too... Oh, here. This is the UML diagram. GFW key goes to layout, goes to widget. Widget emits event and goes to app. Perfect. That's the whole thing. So, yeah, since the widget is in charge of his own focus, yeah, he can just release it. So the text box. Text box, text box, text box. If he is focused and we clicked somewhere, so if we have some sort of like input state, mouse down location. If we're focused and the widget bounds do not contain the location that we clicked, we just say self-focus is equal false, which means that we need self here, which we don't have right now. So we just say like const, we just copy paste from here, boom, boom. Okay, so now when we click anywhere else, that should unfocus. Oh, yeah. Oh, come the fuck on, man. Say that's not sick. Okay, cool. So I think that kind of says we have some sort of focus event, and now let's make sure that we can actually do something with that focus event. So let's say that we actually like append to thing, append to focused entry on keypress. Okay, sick. Sick. Accidentally alt tab is way to total success. I mean, alt tab, that's not a UML diagram. Let's not get crazy here. That thing is obviously wrong, like not what he asked for, but it was close enough. That is not sick, as you requested. Fuck! I have to stop phrasing it that way. I'm used to Twitch chat. You guys are supposed to do the opposite of what I say. That's like your thing, right? Like, so if I say, tell me that's not sick, you guys are supposed to say that's sick. But I guess you have to think that I mean it. You have to think I mean it, because that's the classic Twitch chatter reaction. Do whatever the streamer does not want. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. So I guess somehow we have to iterate this input state for like, I think that we want like keys pressed this frame. I don't really like allocating like that usually, but that's probably good enough. Yeah, that's probably good enough. So we have like a window action. Let's change this window action to just literally give us like a key as a Unicode character, or sorry, Unicode character, a ASCII character. And we can just store all keys for the frame. I usually don't like doing this, but I think it's fine. Yeah. So we'll say that on the beginning of a frame, we clear the frame keys. We need an allocator. No, we don't. We can just do like self frame keys, clear retaining capacity. That's fine. What about shift modifier? Yeah, we'll get there one day. Is that in a U8? I think that's in a U8, but also we could do it two ways. We could do like shift here, right? Or we could specify like the capital ASCII code. Either of those would work. Either of those would work. Okay, so that means push input here needs an allocator. So that when we see a key down event, we can say self frame keys append. Oh, I see. Here we should probably actually hold like a key event. That probably makes more sense, right? So this is just like this stuff, and then the key event goes here. And then here we just like literally store the event. Okay, and then here we have key events like this. Yeah, okay, that's fine by me. Fine by me. Push input here needs an allocator now. And I think what we're gonna do here is instead of doing the GLFW conversion here, we should just do the GLFW conversion here. So key car is, sorry, when I say like here, this is like literally like the, when GLFW gets a key press, he calls this function and then we like write this action into a queue. We're just doing the conversion here so that the queue is generic. So key car is here. And what do we say? This is like a uwait. That's like an int cast of GLFWB GLFW key A minus, I think the key that we got plus A is what we said, right? And then we just have to do like if key is greater than, I guess if it's like less than A or greater than Z, we don't know what to do with it yet. So we'll just you know, hit a little early return. Perfect. Perfect. Error unit is ignored at GUI 68. So this thing is write try, which means this thing can fail now, which means that the caller of this guy needs to write try, and then we need to write all, not just write. Remember to save, guys. We always remember to save around here. Classically, we always remember to save. Okay, so that means that we should be able to go to like the text box thing, and we should be able to go like, if we are focused, we should be able to just go like for input state frame keys. I think GLFW key star is ASCII for the things that make sense. I think that I checked this last time and it wasn't, but I could be wrong. I'll double check. So here now we can call our like self text action generate with the key. And that means that our input response here, oof. That means that like we might return many actions. Instead, we will return one action. I've changed my mind. Instead, we will return one action, but that action could contain many key presses. Then we can kick this problem down the road a little bit. But like, surely, like in the future, somebody could hit Control C and then type some stuff, and we will have to support that. But I don't want to right this second, so we won't. So this thing is going to get a I guess maybe he gets a character iterator. Maybe. Hear me out. Maybe we get a, yeah. Maybe it's just a, no, you know what, fuck it. It's window keys. This is literally just like key event. Fuck it. Yeah. Yeah. Union, yeah, I guess that's an option. I think more likely I'm going to want to do something that doesn't allocate and return some form of iterator. Like a type erase iterator seems pretty likely there. I just don't know what that's going to look like yet, so I don't want to think about it right now. It's like too hard to cover in the next 10 minutes, so. Okay, so now this thing, instead of taking a character, is going to take in a events. A key event. Like this, and he's going to return text is events, and then down here we're going to be like for the text ev for event, we append that one ev key. Yeah, okay, so now we just have to make it so that the text box class just says generate, but instead of, he just generates like with whatever is in the input state. Fuck. Items. Fuck. Action equals this. So this is a action type, and then here return the action. Okay. Fuck. 217. What's he pissed about here? Const. Const. All right. I mean, that's pretty fucking sick. That is pretty sick. Obviously, there's a lot of work to do here, but I think that's a pretty big win for the day. We have many text boxes, and we can append to the right one. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a big win. That's a pretty big win, because before today we had no concept of key presses at all. We had no concept of focus. Yeah, it's pretty sick. It would be nice to show like the cursor or something instead, right? But you you can only type one word. Which word will it be? He asked like 10 minutes ago. Now it's just like the word ASDF. He knows me so well. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good amount of progress today. Yeah, what did we do? We like added the concept of focus to a layout. The layout can now like choose to focus something. Widgets now can ask for focus, and that focus dispatches keyboard events to only that one thing. Well, I guess technically keyboard events are processed to everyone or sent to everyone, but only one widget should think it is focused at a given time. And so as long as the widget respects the focus thing, then we should be fine. I think with nested layouts, we probably solve some problems. We have to make sure that if the layout isn't focused, he tells all of the child elements they are also not focused. But that is a problem for later. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Pretty sick. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that a lot. Yeah, we also have like this, like if we click on or off, the focus is correctly handled. We fixed some like text rendering bugs. Oh, just kidding. They're broken again. But we did fix some resizing issues. We'll have to come back to that. But yeah, pretty good. Pretty good progress for the day. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked what you saw, we stream most days at around 12:30 Pacific time to 4 o'clock Pacific time. Is 3:50 Pacific time now. So anywhere between 3.5 hours ago and now is when you should see us live if you're watching us live. If you're watching us live and you're like, I want to keep up with the project, but I can't see it every day, there is a YouTube link in the Twitch description where you can see VODs of the main stream, which is the 2 to 4 segment. There's also the happy hour segment, which is kind of like code cleanup, minor fixes, that type of thing. What did we do in happy hour today? I don't even remember. It was, oh, yeah, happy hour today was like refactoring to improve the overlay stuff, right? So like yesterday we looked at this and we came up with like kind of like a shit version of what an overlay should look like. The current version looks a lot better, except for like a couple bugs that we introduced. But, you know, so we do like refactors, cleanup, that type of shit in happy hour. If you want to see archived happy hours, you have to subscribe on Twitch or Patreon or join on YouTube. what else do we usually say? If you're watching on YouTube, should be a Twitch link in the YouTube description. Swing by and say hi if you're online at the right time. There's a GitHub link in the Twitch description if you want to follow this project. It is in this FIMP repo. I've been pretty aggressively committing to the whip branch, so this stuff will change, but if you want to see what's going on, that should be there by the time this VOD is up. Otherwise, I think that's all we got to say. YouTube, peace out. Twitch, let's find someone to raid.